pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Need a motion to approve the agenda. I have no additions or corrections.
So moved.
Support.
Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to comments from the audience. Hearing none, we will move on to our items of business. The adoption of the resolution calling for the special election. Mrs. Anson, would you like to?
Sure will. In the opinion of this board, it is necessary and expedient to ask voters whether to approve a bond project consisting of remodeling, including security improvements, 2, climate controls 4, and roof improvements 2, furnishing and refurnishing and equipping and re-equipping school buildings, acquiring and installing instructional technology and instructional technology equipment for school buildings, and developing and improving playgrounds, driveways, and sites. This board estimates the necessary cost of the project to be $25,491,429. It will be necessary for the district to borrow the sum of $24,400,000 and issue the bonds of the district therefore, the remaining funds to be derived from the investment of the bond proceeds. This board intends to submit a proposition at a special election to be held on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. On or before 4 p.m. on Tuesday, February 13th, 2024, the board shall certify any ballot proposition to be submitted to the voters at such election to the election coordinator or coordinators designated to conduct elections within the district. Now, therefore, be it resolved that a special election of the school electors of the district be called and held on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. The proposition to be voted on at the special election shall be stated on the ballots in substantially the form as set forth in Exhibit A. The election coordinator is requested to utilize leader publications, a newspaper published or of general circulation within the district for publication of notices in accordance with the election law requirements. Utilize ballot proposition summary information as prepared by legal counsel in the forms of the notices of last day of registration and election and substantially the form set forth in Exhibit B attached hereto. Provide a proof copy of the ballot to the district and its legal counsel in sufficient time to allow the ballot to be proofread prior to printing. This board estimates the period of usefulness for the improvements for which bonds of this district in the amount of $24,400,000 are to be issued to be not less than 21 years. The secretary of this board is hereby authorized and directed to file a copy of this resolution with the election coordinator and with any election clerk or clerks designated to conduct elections within the district by 4 p.m. on Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. All resolutions and parts of resolutions insofar as they conflict with the provisions of this resolution B and the same are hereby rescinded.
Is there a second for the resolution?
Second.
Are there any questions or discussion regarding it? Hearing none, does this need to be a roll call vote? Tammy?
Yes.
Justin?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Natalie?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion passes. Moving on to our superintendent's report.
Well, and since we are having another board meeting this month, I'll save some of the things to when we have some more people here. But I did just want to remind everybody, we're talking a lot about the bond, but also about our non-homestead millage renewal, which will be on February 27th. And again, this is the same non-homestead millage renewal that yearly has been in May. We have just moved the vote to February to allow us to be on an election cycle, and we've moved it from a 1-year to a 3-year to stay on that election cycle and therefore not need to call for a special election moving forward. And then because of that 3-year, the ballot language does read 19 mil, and that has caused some confusion where we've had a number of voters reach out to our office just to seek clarification on what that means. So we've provided the informational or information to them stating that really at no time can we legally levy more than 18 mil, and the 19 mil is due to the Headley rollback. If we were to have a rollback during those 3 years, it's basically putting that mill almost in like a savings account is how we've explained it, where if the millage rate goes below that 18 mil, that we're able to take from that to bring it back up to the 18 mil, but it will only ever be 18 mil if it was approved by the voters. So we've just been trying to educate the public on those changes, because it is a change from years past, but it is the same millage renewal that voters have voted on every year since 1994 when Proposal A was passed. So just trying to make sure that that word gets out there, and we're happy to provide any sort of information to any voter if they reach out and call.
I know that we have our information on the website, and there's been released stuff on Facebook. Are we going to have something in the newspaper or a mailer?
We were just talking about that. We're going to look to see what we can get in the newspaper. It is on the back of the editorial that just went out. And then we're going to look to see if we can put out some informational flyers at places like Spicy's and the library and anywhere else that people might be able to pick them up and then pass them on as well too. If anybody wants to pick up any information, if they have seen the website and they know that there's people who don't read it that they're in contact with and they want to pick up some printed information from us, we're happy to have some FAQs here as well too that people can stop and then pass out as well.
Perfect. And the editorial gets mailed out to everybody in the district, right?
Yep.
So good.
Excellent.
Great.
So the net of the 19, just so I'm familiar with this, for somebody that's used to paying the 18.
They will only ever pay the 18.
Okay.
So it's because before as a district, we've gone year to year, so we haven't had to worry about the Headley rollback at all. So if at any time on those non-homestead, so not your primary house, it's second homes, businesses, if at any time that's to drop below the 18 mils, which can happen, and then at that time, if we didn't have that cushion of being built into what we're asking right now, we would have to come back to the voters in order to get up to that 18 mil. And what I have let a number of people who've asked know is that this isn't anything in addition to. So the state basically requires districts to seek this 18 mil in order to get the full foundation allowance. So if we didn't have that 18 mil on non-homestead properties, instead of getting the about $9,600 that we get per pupil this year, we would have only gotten about $8,600. And that money is what goes to pay our teachers and the materials for classrooms and things like that. So it's part of our operating monies. So really the 19 mil is never assessed on the non-homestead. It's just that extra mil is kind of out there in case it drops to say 17.3. We could use from that 19 that was voted on to bring that back up to that 18 mil, but it will never, we are legally not allowed to go above 18 mil as a district.
And your video was very informational, I thought.
I don't like being on video.
Who
No, it was
good though.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it was very informational, and I feel like that video, like that special touch of, I have a question, I can see this here, and it's coming right from you. Like I felt like that was very helpful.
It's school finance in Michigan, unfortunately, thank you legislators for making it super complicated, and it's hard. If I start to think about it too hard, it's hard to understand and explain. So I see where the confusion comes in because we make it as complicated as possible in this state.
Yes.
But it was very informative. And
Well, thank you. Now that I am not sick anymore, I'm going to do part 2 to explain the 19 mil part. And my husband made me get one of those circle lights because he's dark and
Oh my God.
we'll see how that one goes.
How does it work if we were to get a no vote? on the 18th?
So-
How does that work?
If we have a no
Oh,
vote.
I pray not. Like,
yes.
I'm just saying, I'm just.
No, but if we were to get, have a no vote, we would need to look to put it back on a ballot. We would be too late to add it to our May special election, so we would be looking at August. If that was not to pass, we would not be getting the full foundation allowance from the state for next year. And without that, that's, about 2.6 million.
I
So,
think you had said about 2.6.
so unfortunately, that would
Gotta
mean us
have it.
looking at what we can cut in 2.6 million. And unfortunately, over 80% of our budget is people. So that's what we would be looking at if it didn't pass.
All right. Do you have anything else?
No, I'll save all the fun stuff for our third board meeting in February. Oh, I do want to thank Mike Canellis, though, for
Yes.
coming here today. So I appreciate that.
Congratulations to you guys for all the hard work. And the fun begins.
Yes, yes.
So,
We'll be spending some more time together. So.
Well, hearing nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Oh, support. Sorry, jinx.
Guys are, yeah.
Questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes. Thank you very much for being with us this evening.
have a great evening.
Thank
Sorry for
you.
the
Thank you for
drive,
driving
Mike.
down.
Hey, Mike, thanks for coming down.
Oh my gosh, yes, appreciate it.